By now, you've all heard of Italian Wine Unplugged 2.0, the latest book published by Mama Jumbo Shrimp. It's more than just another wine book. The fully updated second edition was inspired by students of the Vinitaly International Academy and painstakingly reviewed and revised by an expert panel of certified Italian wine ambassadors from across the globe. The book also includes an edition by Professore Attilio Scienza, Italy's leading vine geneticist. The benchmark producers feature is a particularly important aspect of this revised edition. The selection makes it easier for our readers to get their hands on a bottle of wine that truly represents a particular grape or region. To pick up a copy, just head to Amazon.com or visit us at mamajumboshrimp.com.
Thanks for tuning in to Get U.S. Market Ready with Italian Wine People on the Italian Wine Podcast. I'm Steve Raye, your host, and this podcast features interviews with the people actually making a difference in the Italian wine market in America, their experiences, challenges, and personal stories. And I'll be adding a practical focus to the conversation based on my 30 years in the business. So if you're interested in not just learning how, but also how else, then this pod is for you. Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Get U.S. Market Ready with Italian Wine People. I'm your host, Steve Raye, and my guest this week is Giancarlo Gariglio from Slow Food, Slow Wine. Giancarlo, welcome to the show.
Hello, thanks. Thanks a lot, Steve.
Yeah, before we get started, because this is not an esoteric subject, but it's something that I think might be new for our listeners. Give us a brief background of you and how you got into the wine business.
Quite strange things, because when I started to work with Slow Food 22 years ago, I never drink wine because it's not. I didn't like wine before when I was 25 years, and because in my family my parents drink very bad wines, and so I never want to taste this kind of wines. And so when I start to work in Slow Food, I discover a new world for the first time.
And when you started there at Slow Food, you had told me this is the only job you've ever had?
Yes, because I start work at Slow Food 10 days before take the degree on economic science. And after the degree, I started to work with Slow Food, and this is my first and last job for the moment.
So far, yeah, I mean, that's kind of an unusual thing. I don't think I've ever spoken to anybody who is still at their first job. So we're talking specifically about slow wine, but first let's start with an overview of, tell me about what the slow wine, slow food movement is. Give us a kind of a top line.
Yes, Slow Food was born in 1986 in Italy, thanks to Carlo Petrini, that was the founder of Slow Food, and was born in 86 after the opening of a branch of McDonald's in Piazza di Spagna, in the center of in one of the most beautiful place in Italy, in Rome. And after these things, Carlo Petrini decided to say we have to make something to save the traditional food and wine of our country. And in 1989, in Paris, Slow Food decided to be an international association, so to preserve the food in each country in which operated the association and the members. And Slow Wine is an idea of Slow Food about the wine, and was born like a guide, an Italian guide, in 13 years ago.
So like printed book?
Yes, it's a printed book, it's a website for the moment in Italian, and we have some project also in other countries, also in US, and probably we can speak about after.
We will. So the offices, where are they located, and where do you operate yourself and the organization operates? What are the primary countries that are involved in this?
Yeah, our headquarters are in Bra, that is a small town 40 miles from Turin in northwest of Italy, very close to France. And in Bra are our headquarters and also an University of Gastronomic Science that Slow Food founded in 2004. And there are like 200 people that work for Slow Food. And we have like 80,000 members in all over the world. And but in Italy we are stronger than in other country. But we operate in 136 countries in the world.
Oh, cool.
For the food, for the wines, we are smaller than when we speak about the wines.
Okay, so how many we'll focus on the wineries, member wineries are involved in the Slow Wine Enterprise?
For the guide, we review like 2,000 wineries in Italy. For the Slow Wine USA edition, we have 300 wineries review in the American guide.
Cool. And I would like to give a shout out to Deborah Parker Wong, a good friend of mine who was the editor of this. Tell me how you and Deborah got together and got her as the editor.
Yeah, we start to work with Deborah in 4 years ago, and the beginning was a field coordinator for the California. And after we decided to give her the role of chief editor for the American edition of the guide.
And what do you see as the objective of Slow Wine itself, corporately, the big entity, and then we'll get into the U.S.?
I think, in my opinion, for me it was very interesting to discover the American wines, because in Italy usually we taste only the very famous wines about your country, like Opus One or similar. But when I started to taste the wine in California and Oregon and Finger Lakes, for me it's very nice. Was very nice because for me I discovered a new world. Really, because usually the Italian and European people think about the American wines very strange and not the right idea about this kind of wines. Usually we think about only very full body, very sometimes we have some different opinion about the quality, but it's not the right opinion for me, because the American wines are very, very interesting in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a road we don't have time to go down either. And particularly we've seen dramatic evolution in the quality of American wines, and certainly the styles are very different from what's produced in Italy. But talking about the Slow Wine Guide, what's the primary function of the Slow Wine Guide? To identify wines or restaurants where you can buy those wines? How is it structured?
The structure of Slow Wine is a guide that try to give a lot of information to the reader. So we don't give scores. We decide to don't give scores, but we give some indication and award to the wines. Primarily, we give an award that the name is Slow Wine, like the guide, to the wines that for us is very good for the for the first things, but also they are produced with sustainability in and when the wine grower work in the fields, they use not herbicides, some other things that we review in the guide. So we give a lot of information about the vineyard and some other things also about the process in the cellar. And after, because we visit all the wineries that are reviewed in the guide, we give also some awards to the wineries. So the snail, that is the symbol of our of Slow Food, we give the snail to the wineries that produce for us the wines good, clean, and fair. So good for the quality, for the quality of the tasting, clean for the sustainability, and fair for the relationship between the producer and also the people that work in the wineries, and also the relationship between the winery and the people live close to the winery. So the social for us is very important. Also the social and cultural role of the wineries
In the community in which they operate.
in the community. Yes, in the community. Yes.
Italian Wine Podcast, part of the Mama Jumbo Shrimp family.
So, who's the target audience for the book? Who would buy the book?
We'd like that the book it will be by to the wine lovers, the consumer, but with Slow Wine we organize also a tour in US with 5 different events. And when we organize these events, are open only to the wine industry. So we'd like that also the wine industry can read our guide to choose when they create the wine list of the restaurant or some other things, to when they buy the wines for a retail shop or wine bar and something like that. They can use also some other suggestion that we try to give them.
So it's a reference source also for the trade, so that they can pick those wines that adhere to
I
the.
hope yes. I hope yes. 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 Because with the idea to give a lot of information, not only the scores, about the history, about the way in which producer work in the fields. So we try to give a lot of information also for the people that buy the wines for job.
Okay, if somebody wanted to order the book, where would they go? How would they do that? Let's be commercial here. Tell us how people could buy it.
Now we are working on the new edition of the American Slow Wine Guide edition, and is available for maybe from the first part of January in also on Amazon, and on in the online bookstore, and maybe also in some wineries that buy the guide to for the wine shop of the wineries. I know that there are some wineries that buy for for the wine shop.
Okay, if somebody wanted to start their investigation into slow wine, what's your website address?
I think the best way to discover in this moment slow wine is the slowwinecoalition.com,
Slowwinecoalition.com.
because it's a new project, is a network that we are working on, and is a network that formed by the wineries, the wine lovers, and the wine industry. So we are creating a network between three different subjects of are the people that love the wines, the wines that we review.
Tell us more about the Slow Wine Tour. I have attended a couple of them, and I thought it was very interesting, but it was hard for me to understand exactly what slow wine was, because it was held in conjunction with another or other related wine fairs. So tell us what you're doing in the U.S. and when you have them planned for 2023.
The tour of slow wine was born 11 years ago, when we start with the guide, 11 or 12 years ago. And US was one of the first place in which we decided to make our tour. And at the beginning was open only to the Italian wineries that took an award on our guide. And when we start with the Slow Wine USA guide, we open also to the American wineries. So in this moment, the only wineries that can participate in our events are the wineries that are awarded in our guide in Italia or in US. We organize usually 5 different events in 5 different cities. Always we organize the tour in New York and San Francisco, and we decide sometimes to change the other cities. In 2023, on the 6th of March, it will be our tour in San Francisco, the 7 in Seattle, the 9 in Dallas, Texas, the 13 in Miami, and we close the tour the 15 in New York. So this is it will be our next tour. The tour is open to only to the wine industry. Only the event in New York it will be open to the wine lover, but we open for 4 hours to the wine industry. We close for 1 hour and we restart the event for the public, for the wine lovers in the evening.
Okay, and you're also internationally doing one in Munich and 2 in Asia. Where are those going to be and when?
Yes, in Munich, it will be in the 23 of January of 2023, and in Asia we don't have at the moment the right dates, but it will be in November.
Okay, so for these events, what are your objectives? Let's take the one in New York because it's the one I'm most familiar with. When you have this event, what are the metrics that you use? What are you measuring, and how do you define a successful show?
For us, is the events, the metrics to define the success of our events are when we have a good public, thanks to the people that love not only the wines, but particular wines that for us is the wines that we try to award in our guide. So wines that are very close to the terroir, the concept of the terroir, very close to the also an artisanal way to produce this kind of wines. So when we have some people that can understand and also can sell this kind of wines in US, and they also talk about with the people and the consumer people about these wines, for us is very important to have this kind of people that are curious and love this kind of wines. And I think in the last year, this kind of people in US are growing a lot. And for this reason, also the numbers of the wineries that come in our tour, American and Italian, are growing year by year.
You've created a document called the Manifesto, the 10 points of the Manifesto, if you will. Tell us about that.
Yes, we create this manifesto to define better the wines that we call good, clean, and fair. You can find our manifesto on the web. It's very easy to find, and the most important points are related to 3 big arguments. One is the sustainability. So we give some rules about, according to Slow Food, about the sustainability, and this is one argument. The second argument is related to the role that the wineries can be to the defense of the landscape, and also the place in which the winery are working. Because in Italy, but also when I visit the wineries in US, a lot of times the wineries work on hills. When the rain is very dangerous in Italy, we have a lot of problems with the heavy rains, or sometimes with the fires. And I know that in California the fires are terrible. So the presence of the wineries and the work of the wineries in the fields in the country help also to preserve the landscape and the terroir in which the wineries are working. So this role for us is very important. And the last one is the social role of the wineries that I spoke before. The role that the wineries have with the people that work in the wineries, and also with the people that live in the village near the wineries. So the social role of the wineries.
So Giancarlo, thank you very much for being a guest. We've been speaking with Giancarlo Gariglio from Slow Wine, and thank you for being a guest. And it seems like we meet each other at varying places in Italy, and maybe the next time I see you, it'll be in New York.
Thanks, Steve. I'm very happy to speak with you, and thanks a lot for the interview. And sorry for my English. It's terrible, but I try to improve my English in the future, because I love your country.
Yeah, well, it's a lot better than my Italian. So anyway, that's it for this week. This is Steve Raye, another edition of Get U.S. Market Ready with Italian Wine People. Thanks again for listening. This is Steve Raye with Get U.S. Market Ready with Italian Wine People on the Italian Wine Podcast.